Hi guys, Gareth here from Heartfelt Horsemanship. I'm about to run a trail pattern that I've just set up. I was sent the test by Sarah Jane McCrindle, and I'm going to video and send it to her for judging. Sarah's probably one of the most qualified Western judge in South Africa, and one of the strictest, and that's kind of why I like being judged by her, because that's how you get growth. Especially with this kind of thing where you're practicing at home. It's not going to be as perfect as difficult as it is at a show, so I want to be under a really strict judge and get everything I need to work on right. So I'm going to walk the test with you, well, the pattern. Okay, let's pull it up on my phone. Okay, first thing on this pattern is I have to start walking, open the gate with my left hand, close the gate behind me. Yes, it's a rope gate, I don't have a big fancy gate. Then from there depart at a jog. For those that don't know, a jog is a slow trot. Jog over the poles. Then I'm going to pick up a right lead lope. So a lope is a canter. Let's show you where that is. Okay, I've got a lope over there. Dream hunter wondering what I'm doing without him. Pick up the lope over these poles. Hope I get this filmed before the storm hits. Lope over these two poles. Straight in. And I can see that is down to a walk, down to a jog. Walk into the box. 270-degree turn to the right. Walk over poles, walk over the bridge, pick up a jog, jog something of a figure 8 through this box. On this side, got across that pole over there, come back around between the box and the bridge, jog all the way around, okay. I have to jog over this. Yes, I jog over this pole, jog into the box, into the chute, jog into chute, down to a walk into the L shape, then I've got to back that L shape, and then I have to jog, walk to finish. Okay, it's the finish line. Cool, we're going to get on the horse and give it a try. Good morning. So yesterday's riding the pattern didn't happen as the storm blew in. I'm going to go through again, get it filmed and sent off to Sarah. I have practiced it once without filming, but my goal here is to film once off as if it's at a show. I'm not going to go and film 10 takes and put my best one through, because that's not going to be an honest reflection of how I would have performed at a show. As much as this is a great training tool, I will practice it and try and get my best, and then do a once off. The reason I want to do that is it simulates the amount of nerves that come up when you hit a show. And well, for me at least, nerves is the thing that interferes with my riding the most. Nerves starts making me pull on the horse more than I need to. Even this morning when I was doing my practices, I picked up that Dreamy's lope was a bit rushed and not as collected, or not as engaged as I'd like, and I started pushing on him, which is a bit unfair when it comes down to it. I haven't worked on it enough for this, so when I get out of that situation and I prepare myself to run a class, I am like, I'm going to accept what I get. If my lope is a bit rushed, it is what it is, and it's kind of my responsibility to take, because I haven't put the preparation in. But I'm classing this as show day. I can't school on show day. You don't sit and try and correct something that's wrong on show day. You get what you get and you give it your best shot, and that's how I'm going to approach this pattern. Cool, guys. Just a little bit about why I choose trail as it's my favorite discipline. It's not the only discipline I do. I try and give everything a go, but trail is my favorite discipline because of the precision. I view it as an art form. For example, so on the test I've got to come out that gate, jog over those poles, so slow trot, and pick up a right lead canter over poles all the way around and straight down to a jog, and walk into that box and do a 270-degree turn. That's a lot of precision. So if you know, those of you that have given working equitation a go, I love working equitation too, because it's also got the obstacles, but the difference is those specific points where you've got to change gait. So if you look at here, you'll come out of that 270-degree turn, you've got to walk over the bridge, and as you go over the bridge you've got to pick up to a jog and jog a little figure eight through this 6-foot closed box, jog over that, and you jog into the chute and come down to a walk and walk into the L and back out of it. It's a beautiful expression of connection and communication with your horse to have this much of precise changes. And you know, with it being a Western discipline, you are marked on a horse being willfully guided. So you're not expected to be yanking and pulling on reins or spurring it, and the judge is going to give you extra points if your horse is willfully guided, and that really does show relationship. So I will film and submit to the judge, and then once I've got the feedback in, I'm going to read through the feedback from the judge over the test, and I'm going to talk a little bit about, you know, given that I ride Western from a natural perspective, there will be some things that I suppose I prioritize a little differently to a Western performance judge, and it's no negative statement about a judge. That's what they expected to mark, but remember that what I'm looking for out of a test is different. So me saying, well, I'm not going to, if I'm going through that test and say, well, let's say that lope, for example, I know now before I even ride that Sarah, who is a very good and very precise judge that doesn't miss a thing, she will comment on that, and I'm like, yep, I acknowledge that, but I'm still willing to go and do the test now, knowing that it's not in place and knowing it's something I need to work on. That's the reason I compete. I don't compete to win silly little rosettes with a couple bucks. I don't compete for trophies, I don't compete for titles. I compete to be accountable to my horse, well, and horses in general, that I am progressing. If I wait to be perfect, I have no indication that I'm progressing. So I'm quite happy, and I think this is something that I'd really like to get people to give these online patterns a go. Even if you're an English rider, get your English tack out, speak to Sarah about which things are legal, and give it a try. I think people are very scared to make themselves vulnerable publicly and show it not being perfect. That is where you grow. When you go under a judge of Sarah's caliber, well, but just about any judge, and you give it a try when you're not getting it perfect, and the judge said this has to be better, you're going to work on that. Now, you might have a very different approach to your judge. So your judge technically doesn't coach you, but they certainly tell you what you need to work on, and then you go back to your instructor that fits into, you know, your foundations. Because let's say, for example, you're a English rider coming across, and you kind of have more, you've got a very solid foundation with your horse, which is built upon something completely different to what I've built my foundation on. And then you start working on these precision things, and I come in with quips about what you need to change at precise levels. It's not going to improve your horse, because your horse lacks that, has a different foundation to mine. So, and that really is why I focus, at least from an instruction point of view, on building those foundations, because once you're on the foundations, then I can help you, and we're all on the same foundation. But when you get that feedback from a judge, even if they do give a little bit of coaching, it's best to speak to the instructor that got you to this point and see how that fits in with your foundations. Obviously, if you're a more advanced rider, you can kind of make those calls yourself. But I myself got into trouble with this last year, where I got to a point where I wanted to progress my finesse work, more from the dressage point of view, and I went and got instruction from a very good, fantastically kind instructor, who I would love to be able to ride like. And I started implementing these things, and things fell apart. And it was no indication on that instructor. It was the instructor is brilliant and achieves great results for people that have started on the same foundation as him. So I went back to my foundations, and I kind of got things right. It isn't that the instructor was wrong in anything that I was taught. They're fantastic. It just didn't gel with my foundations. So when I go back now, and my foundations match my finesse, my horse has far more understanding. Cool, guys. Let you know how this turns out. The judge's comments on the gait. Neat and tidy gait, good pattern placement. Horse showed a small amount of resistance to the rider's commands working through the gait. Lacked smoothness and finesse. Work on lightness. Keep your outside leg back when backing does help prevent the horse moving hip away from the gate when closing. That's a fair comment. Now the jog through the box, the next part. Good lift over poles. Upward transition, lack neatness. Take your time toward making it look smoother. The canter over the poles, horse's good cadence and lope through the upward transition was rushed. 270 right box, knocked pole entering the box. The turn was smooth. Walk poles, slow down through the obstacle. The bridge, horse was rushed over the bridge. Jog poles, some good points, so it showed some nice cadence, did lose cadence at some points and was a little above the bridle
some valuable things to work on. Okay, for the back through the poles, neat backup. The backup showed slowness to react to the rider's cues. Definitely have to work on getting Dreamy a little bit lighter off there. Very slow, his backup's not really even smooth. So very helpful comments from the judge. I'll be working on this and we'll see what it looks like next month. I do have Cherokee's one coming up, so we can have a look and see what that looks like. Thanks, guys.
Hi guys, right, so I have finished writing my test. You guys have now seen the first test with Dream Hunter. I've just finished writing a test on Cherokee, and Jamie and I were having discussion. She kind of feels that Cherokee might outscore Dreamy. I'm not sure. Cherokee City looks smoother, but he's still young and he's not as precise as Dreamy. But so I've got the score from Sarah, and I've got all the points we've been through. I've got a score of 62.5. And for those of you that don't know how trail scoring works, an average is 70. So it's a fairly low score. And when Dreamy and I were working towards the High Point Championship in 2017, Dreamy was averaging 72 or 75. But we were working on it pretty consistently. And the other thing is how meticulous Sarah is as a judge. So I do feel that even at that time, if I was being judged by Sarah more, I probably would have been hovering around the 68, 69 scores. And I take that as a good thing. Sarah judges like she would if she was judging at an international show. And really that's the only way to be completely fair. I find when judges kind of make concessions for the fact that it's local, you don't have an across-the-board feel of how good someone's doing, because one person might get a concession that's different to someone else. So I really appreciate a strict judge, and all the points she gave me were fantastic to work on with Dream Hunter, and I'm looking forward to that. So, and the best part about it is a lot of the points she gave me to work on were ones that I mentioned beforehand, before I submitted it, that I knew I needed work on, and she gave me ways to work on it that I feel will benefit the other patterns that I'm putting through this week, or in the coming week. So a big thank you to Sarah Jane McCrindle for this. Please, I encourage you guys, if you are at home with your horses, give it a go. Drop Sarah Jane a message, get your patterns, film it, and get it in. It will only grow your horsemanship. Even if you have no plan to ever compete in Western, I think this will grow your precision and your horsemanship. Gives you something to be accountable for. Thanks for watching. Please like and share our videos, and so we can get a bigger reach and help more people in their horses. Thanks guys. Cheers.